Welcome back, book pals. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. I'm Brianna, and this is my channel. And today we are getting into, I'm going to say the right month, April's book wrap up. So let's get into it. So today we are going over the 15 books that I read this month. That was pretty good. Let's see. I got stats. I wrote them down because I have the memory of a goldfish. So I read 15 books. 6 were audio, 7 were physical, 1 was digital. 2 of them were DNFs over 50%. And then on top of that, I had just had 2 straight out DNFs. So in reality, there were 17 books in total this month. A couple were from the library, several were from my own collection, and some of them were actually from my TBR videos. So I have to say, with that, I'm really proud of myself because I'm a mood reader, and so for me to stick to my TBR, even just a little bit, shocking. So, let's do the physical books first. I didn't read anything I absolutely didn't like. So when it comes to all of the physical books, let's start with meh to the best. There wasn't anything, I think, below like a 3-star. Wasn't anything absolutely mind-blowing in that area to absolutely mind-blowing, a forever fave. I did find probably one of the best books of the year that I've read. So let's go in that order. Let's go in that order. So my 2 in the meh, these were okay. I would suggest them, but they're not my diehard faves. First was Astrid Parker Doesn't Fail. This is a book by Ashley Herring Blake, sapphic romance. This is the second in the Bright Fall series. I read Delilah Green Doesn't Care last year, and so finally I'm finishing up the series this year. This one was okay. I really liked how Astrid bloomed in this book. That in the first book she was just so cold, and we know this is because of her mother. And in this book she really comes into her own and finds her place, and I thought that was a really nice representation of growing into yourself and discovering your queer identity. And it was cute. I would probably rate this a 3.5 star. So that was a pretty good book. The next one I would say left me disappointed. I wanted more out of this, and that was Fable for the End of the World. This was on my TBR pick for April out of the TBR jar, and this was kind of an homage to the Hunger Games, also a sapphic romance. Disappointing. It did not give me the action I was wanting out of this, did not produce that connection to the characters you would want in something like this, and the ending just left something to be desired. I would probably rate this a 3-star, maybe a 2.75. It was okay. I think there's going to be a sequel, but it's not one that I will go for. This is a one and done for me. I'm going to list this on my Pango, and maybe someone who will like this book will find it and pick this up and enjoy it far more than I did. Then we move into the books that I really enjoyed and are starting off into a series that I have been avoiding, and have a video coming out about these specifically later, but that would be Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight. I finally started into this series because everybody and their mother and their kitchen sink and their dog And probably the mailman is telling everyone, like, oh my gosh, you got to read these, blah, 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 blah. And I also have been warned, though, that these two are mediocre compared to the rest. So I'm kind of glad to have gotten these out of the way so I can go into the next ones and just expect a lot more. I did like these. I would probably rate them in the 3.5 to 4.5 range. I haven't decided yet. I'm still really mulling them over. Because there are things I like, and then there are things that really I found annoying. Eyelash fluttering. You are an assassin. I don't care if you're 18. You are an assassin and you were raised to be an assassin. Yeah. The way that she was written, the main character was written a lot in this, just didn't align with how I believe an assassin would have behaved. But that is my opinion. And so I'm going to continue on with the series, and we'll kind of see how it goes and see if my opinion changes on her. Next up, anticipated reads. I had 2 anticipated reads come out in April that I immediately devoured. We've got Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez and Wild and Wrangled, which I did post a reading vlog of this, and I'm doing a cowboy romance vlog, so I didn't post a lot of my thoughts about this in that reading vlog particularly, but if you watched it, you did see how excited I was, and I'm still super excited, and there are some tabs. Wait till you see my favorite of the year, though, that puts this to shame. But first with this, Cam and Dusty's story. I did really, really enjoy this. It was such a beautiful send-off, especially that last like bonus chapter at the end that she puts in here. A wonderful send-off to the Blue Rebel Ranch, and just though Cam and Dusty are not my favorite, I am giving this a solid 4.5. There were a couple of reasons as to why it is not a 5-star to me. And I'll save those thoughts for the vlog that I'm doing with the cowboy romances that I'm going to read. But I highly love this whole series. If you are looking to get into cowboy romance, do it. This is a great one to start with. My favorite still is Lost and Lassoed with Teddy and Gus. They are my absolute favorite and forever will be. But this does not let you down. This was really good. Say You'll Remember Me. You either love this or you hate this. This one was so real. Now, don't get me wrong, Abby writes real stuff in her books. Like, she gets into real issues. This one, though, whew, dementia and long-distance romances and financial issues and abuse. She does have, like, one of those, like, trigger warning, I guess, pages. I am somewhere between like a 4.75 and a 5 on this. I really, really enjoyed it. I did. And a lot of the things in here hit home for me, as I have experienced something similar with family, my father, and things like that. I thought this was done very well. I do hear the people when they say they get one sad thing after another. And for me, as a therapist, I think, well, yeah, that's real life. And personally, I like to read things like that sometimes. Now, would I want to read novel after novel after novel after novel of that? No. Am I going to sit here and read that one book, A Little Life, that's basically Depression City? I'm never going to read that book. But something like this, yes. personally, I really, really enjoyed this book. So, the moment we have all been waiting for in terms of physical books. The best. One of my top reads of the year already. Drum roll, please. Savor It by Tara DeWitt. Look at all of these tabs. And 99% of those tabs actually is me cackling my ass off. Like, seriously, this book is so funny. The banter, the build-up, the small town, all of it. I love this book. I give it 5 geese. If you've read it, you know. If you know, you know. I love this book. So this is about Sagebird and Fisherling, and he is a burnt out of work, Michelin star, I forget the word, chef. And she is a teacher and just all-out giving person in her small town in Spoons, Oregon. And he moves out there with his niece, who he has custody of for the summer, to kind of redeem himself with his boss by helping her open her restaurant out there. And they are neighbors for the summer. And fake dating ensues. And I love a good fake dating. And we all know fake dating always leads to real love. And this does not detour from that. I also learned something. Did you know that the Michelin star is actually the Michelin Man? And it's not even a star. It looks like a flower. What? My friend and I read this as a buddy read, and our minds were blown. And then I found out from one of my Instagram buddies that she's like, yeah, they started to do it to get people like to drive, because, you know, if they drive more, they're going to need tires. And what? Is this just common knowledge? Please let me know in the comments down below, because I did not know that. But this book was so freaking cute, and the sequel, Interconnected Standalone, comes out this month. Left of Forever. I already have it pre-ordered. I'm going to an author event with her, and she's being interviewed by Elsie Silver. So I'm so excited, and I'm going to film it, at least parts of it. One of my top favorites of the year, Infinity Star, 6-star read. Not even just 5 stars, 6-star. So, read this book. Digital, just one on my Kindle. I wanted a palette cleanser, and so I read The Fall Risk by Abby Jimenez, which was kind of a sequel to the one she had released the year before, in that she does those like Valentine's Day releases that are really cute, and I thought that was an adorable story. Very cute. I thought it was fun. Solid 4-star. Audios. So I read 9 audiobooks from the library. I lied, 8 from the library and 1 is mine, because Libro FM was having the sale for Indie Bookstore Day, and since I couldn't do Indie Bookstore Day, I did that instead. So I read, let's go over the 2 that were just flat out DNFs, which one was actually a physical book from the library as well, but then I had to, it was getting really close to the time where I was going to have to bring it back, so it was available on the library, so I checked it out as audio. And that was Threads That Bind. I got maybe 25% in, and I was just not feeling it. I wasn't liking the story. Just didn't float my boat. And then Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. My friend really found this author and really liked her. Like, she found her in the last month. And that one was available soon from the library, and so I got it. Again, wasn't feeling it. so returned it. Other audiobooks, there are several here that I really, really enjoyed. So I've read so far 4 from the Wayward Children series. So I read Every Heart is a Doorway, Down Among the Sticks and Bones, Beneath the Sugar Sky, and In an Absent Dream. And so far, I am really, really liking this series. It's inclusive, lots of LGBTQIA plus representation all around, and it's really fun and whimsical. And they're short and quick, because they're all novellas, but they're really fun to listen to. I am enjoying them all immensely. So I would rate them, Every Heart is a Doorway was a 5, Down Among the Sticks and Bones was like a 4.5, Beneath the Sugar Sky was a 4.5, and In an Absent Dream was like a 3.5. Then we have The Fiancé Farce. I got about 55% of the way in with this one before I DNF'd. It was okay. I wasn't really loving it. I wasn't feeling the chemistry between the 2 female main characters. This is one about one of the female main characters works at a bookstore that's been in her family for ages, and her stepmom, who is just a peach, is like, well, I want to sell it and I feel tied down and blah, blah, blah. And they're also always on her about like not dating and stuff. And so happens is that one of the people who's like frequently on the cover of romance novels, she says, well, I'm dating so-and-so, happens to like just come into her life through happenstance, and she needs to be married as well to get through her grandfather's will her inheritance, and it's a big old mess, and it was okay. Not enough for me to want to finish it when I had so many other books to read, so I may one day, it might be a soft DNF, I may one day go back and finish it, but now is not that time. And then the other DNF was Spells, Strings, and Forgotten Things. This one had very much like a Charmed feel. Whoever wrote this was very much, I don't know if they did, this is just speculation on my part, but they grew up loving Charmed. 3 sisters, all witches, and like some of them were very hesitant to embrace their powers, and then one gets tied to the Dark Witch, and it had potential. But it started to drag on, and just not my cup of tea. So I DNF'd it. And then the last audiobook that I read that I got from the Libro FM indie bookstore sale was This Girl is a Killer. And I haven't read a thriller in a while, but this one was a good for her kind of thriller. She is like a female Dexter, and I really liked that. So she goes after guys that are not great guys, and takes care of them. And of course, along the way, gets herself in trouble. But I would give this a solid 4 stars. It was a good time. And it was a quick read. It's very fast-paced. For being in a thriller slump, that one definitely was a fun time. Didn't take itself too seriously. Wasn't too dark. I liked it. And that is all of the books I read in April. It was another good reading month. I got a lot of hours listened. I got a lot of pages read. And I found one of my favorite books of the year. I had more great reads from authors I love. I finished a series that it's going to be hard to say goodbye to. But Lila Sage is having her Sweetwater series. That's a paranormal romance coming out later this year. So I think I'll be fine. So let me know down below if any of these that you've read or you loved. What did you read? What was your best read of April? Have you found your favorite read of the year so far? If none of those apply, leave me the raindrop emoji because, you know, April showers. And if you like this video, and subscribe if you're new and you want to stick around. Small crew. I'm trying to put out fun videos, so stick around. I'd love to have you. And I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.